Thank you, President. Faculty, trustees, friends, and especially the class of 12. I should make one comment now. I've been on Oprah a number of times, but I'm more nervous right now than I ever have been. I want to talk to you about 12 concepts that I wished I had learned as a senior that helped me to be more able to help do what I wanted to do in the world, that is, to change the world for the better. There's one overriding principle as well. First, prepare to be a target and fly under the radar. You don't have to be or express yourself as something you aren't. You can fly under the radar, and it's a great time at Williams when you're presenting in seminars to learn how to dodge and how to not take things that you don't deserve, and also how to defend yourself. Flying under the radar is extremely important because even the great get attacked. Steve Jobs, when he was CEO and wasn't quite ready for it, got deposed because he didn't know how to fly the right way and defend himself. Let me give you some other examples. The Wright brothers were attacked by Lord Kelvin, president of the Royal Society in 1985, who said, "Heavier than air-flying machines are impossible." Grover Cleveland attacked those who thought about women voting, saying, "Sensible and responsible women do not want to vote." Robert Millikan, a Nobel Prize winner, attacked those who were thinking about using nuclear power and saying, "There's no likelihood man can ever tap the power of the atom." And Harry Warner, when he was president of Warner Brothers Pictures in 1927, said, "Who the hell wants to hear actors talk?" The powerful get attacked. You get a chance to fly under the radar and to learn how to defend yourselves in your senior year. The second thing is to learn how to help a friend do the right thing. I was chair of anesthesia critical care and pain management at a leading Midwestern center when I was called into the chair of surgery's office, and I needed that chair of surgery support to get what we wanted. But he puffed out his chest real big and said, "I'm doing surgery in the chairman of the board of trustees tomorrow. He's having an aneurysm done." It's a complicated operation of the abdomen. And I immediately said, "You haven't done these in many years, have you, sir?" And he said, "Oh, I used to do them all the time, and I've got the chief fellow in vascular surgery is going to help me." Well, clearly, it was time for me to try and figure out how to help a friend. You had to get him out of that case. First, I looked in our database. We had a wonderful database. He hadn't done the operation in 13 years. And the data is pretty clear. You need to do 25 a year to be any good. He hadn't done, in fact, 25 a year in, I think, 17 years. So what did we hatch? We got him paged out of the operating room, called by the chief of medicine just as he was about to start the surgery, and the head of vascular surgery came in, and who does this all the time, did the case, and the dean and the head of medicine kept him occupied till the case was done. You will get many chances to learn to help a friend, whether it is to learn to help them not drink when they're or not drive when they're drinking, or to learn to help them to not load up. You have that responsibility and that privilege to learn that this year. And when in doubt, you get to learn to do the right thing. What do I mean by that? We at the Cleveland Clinic had spent 2 years recruiting a head of neurosurgery, neurology, and neurovascular disease, a major institute we have. We had spent 2 years and finally settled on a candidate from European country. It was wonderful. He was great. He was a wonderful researcher, a great teacher, and had charismatically developed a new operation that could recruit a lot of patients, which is what you want for the clinic. But we learned in his last time when we were about to offer him the job that he smoked. We have a no hiring of smokers policy. We don't allow our transporters to smoke. We don't allow our nurses to smoke. We don't allow our physicians who we hire to smoke any place at the clinic. It's part of the belief that we should stand for wellness and for a change in healthcare if we're going to be a healthcare organization. What were we to do? We had spent 2 years and we're offering this person the job. We asked him, would you quit? And he said, well, I'll try, but I don't really want to. We didn't offer him the job. You have a great chance at Williams to learn. You'll have many chances to be in doubt, to do the right thing. Learn to ask for advice and learn to give advice and to take advice. Now, the toughest part of that is actually learning to take advice without being defensive about it. It's a skill where you actually accept what someone's saying. You can do it easier with a paper where you can read it. But one-on-one, it's learn to accept it and then forget about it for a little while so you aren't defensive about it. Develop excellence in everything you do. You're going to be a rookie repeatedly. When you're in college, you're in first year freshman, you're a rookie. You go to graduate school, you start out as a rookie. If you go into medicine and start as on a ward with a team, you're an intern. Then you're the first year resident. You're always a rookie. But the key is to develop excellence in what you do, because that allows you to do other things. If you look at the other bicentennial winners, awardees, Frederick became a great teacher and was allowed to teach at Williams, what I consider one of the highest honors. Willie became so good at what he did in the Port Authority that he was allowed to sponsor minorities and women's small businesses, and I think has given $1 billion of awards. Is that right? $1 billion of awards to minority and women-owned businesses to do things. Najib was so good at her law firm that they allowed her to form a new pro bono area on domestic violence. And Bethany, Bethany, I changed what I'm going to say about you because you got to do something that Dr. Oz and I have been trying to do, which is we've never gotten on Jon Stewart. Colbert, yes, every other program, but I even morphed Jon Stewart in pictures to show what he would look like if he did healthy things and unhealthy things, and gave it to him, and we couldn't get on. So it is developing excellence that really allows you to accumulate other people to help you. It is what draws people to you. It is what draws capital to you to allow you to start to do things. And it is, you should remember, your name goes on the paper, your name is on the door. You have to develop that pride, as you've said, in excellence. And learn to master a sense of urgency. Eric Schmidt, the chairman of Google, went over to Great Britain a couple weeks ago and was surprised to learn and gave a lecture at, I think, Cambridge, where they discovered distributed computers. They discovered TV. They've discovered the new mode of the internet. Have they commercialized any of them? No, they even have a new method for TV now that they plan to develop over the next 3 years. And as Eric said, Google will have it developed in 6 months. That sense of urgency. And all of you get to experience that at Williams. You have a paper due on Sunday morning and on Monday morning, and it's Sunday night. You will develop that sense of urgency. But there's no reason to not say to that Monday paper, let's get it in Thursday morning so I can party for 3 days, and let's get it done Wednesday night. So learn to remember that sense of urgency, but master the excellence. And learn to focus. The key is you get tremendous opportunities to play touch frisbee, touch soccer in the quad. You get to do a ton of different things. You get to party, you get to study. But what you need to do, you probably get to play with Facebook and everything else, but you've got to learn to focus, because really the greats focus on one thing. All of these people have learned to focus, and that's really been their mode of success. And learn to pick and nurture key teammates. No place you will never again see the depth, breadth, and brilliance of classmates that you will here. This is a unique group. And learn to nurture those friendships. Learn to nurture your teammates. Ideas don't win. It is a team that wins. And I can give you that exact example. In 1993, we wanted to take EKGs, electrocardiograms, heart records, and send them up to the cloud so that if they were done at Mass General, we could get them at University of Chicago. If we did a colonoscopy at the University of Chicago, you could reach in the cloud securely with a HIPAA, what we call a compliant pass number, so nobody would know anybody else, and bring that down if that patient was in the emergency room at UCSF. And we literally patented cloud computing in 1997. And we developed a team around it and raised $4.5 million for it and burned through it and lost the patent because we made mistakes in picking the team. Your teammates are key. Obviously, you're spending a lot of time on one teammate, your significant other or spouse. I'm very lucky to have found one who's been outstanding and protected my back and been a wonderful teammate. But you also have teammates that you will need in every other endeavor. No one does anything alone. Mehmet Oz and I have been fortunate to write the U-books that 28 million copies have been sold, but we don't do it alone. And we produce one a year, and we don't do it alone. He writes the first part, I write the last part. The middle part is written by the two of us together, and then we have an editor, and then we have a cartoonist, because we want guys to read the book. But it is a team that gets it done, and so develop and nurture your team. Now I'm going to talk about something that really is, I think, important. This is probably the first time you will think about your health from a standpoint of what does it mean to society. The United States pays twice as much for health care as developed Europe, 4 times as much as Mexico, India, China, and Japan. Why? Because we have twice the chronic disease of Germany, 4 times the chronic disease of Mexico, India, China, and Japan. And why is that? It's not genetics. It's because of our choices. And 4 choices cover 75% of our medical costs. Our entire budget deficit is due to the fact that we as individuals in America don't take responsibility for our health. And we share that cost. We don't need to do anything tough in budget. We cut the budget if each of us takes personal responsibility for our health enough to not do anything else. Everything else in the budget, as a percent of GDP, stays constant or declines through 2082. Only health care ruins the budget and causes us all the debt. We spend $2.5 trillion on it now. We can eliminate $1.5 trillion if each person takes individual responsibility. But you can't and I can't fight cookies in our room. Chips Ahoy are too strong for us. And that's true. We can't do it. So you need to learn a buddy system, and you need to learn to change your environment if you're going to stay healthy. So those 4 factors, toxins and tobacco is the leading one, physical inactivity, food choices and portion size, and managing stress, all of which you can learn to do and grab buddies to help you do. The last 2 things I'm going to talk about are quick. Be hungry and find your passion. Everyone tells you to find your passion. But I'm going to tell you to find your passion in a demographically favorable way. What do I mean by that? Well, I had a friend when I got to San Francisco And I said, he was successful, he owned the Pepsi franchise. And I said, how do you make sure you're profitable? You're buying other franchises, how are you doing that? And he said, it's pretty easy. There are 250,000 people moving into the Bay Area every year. This is in the mid-'70s. If with 250,000 more customers, I can't be profitable and buy something else, then I'm really bad. He had demographics at his back to succeed. How did we succeed with Real Age, and how will we succeed with you? There are 4 million baby boomers turning 40 or 50 or 55 every year who want to stay young. It's easy to go with the demographics. What do we know? We know that cereal grains are going to be short. We know that clean water is going to be short. We know we need alternative energy and energy solutions. And yes, we need people who can motivate how to be well. Any of those things, there are millions of aspects of those that any one of you can join and have demographics at your back to succeed. Senior year at Williams, I think, is a great time to learn how to make the difference you want to make. I hope you do so. Thank you.